It's not about like giving a hand out, it's giving a hand up. How you word things and how you treat people matters. Everything matters. Free hot soup really started 2 years ago, November. I started because one evening we saw that the weather was getting pretty bad, like dropping into the teens and getting really cold. So I put out a plea on Facebook and I said, hey, this is what we're trying to do. It was just suddenly friends pouring in and just saying like, hey, how can I help you? I got so-and-so, I'll give you this. I'm in Southeast, I'm in Northeast, I'm a chef, I will make you 5 gallons of soup if you want. It became this mobilized action of an entourage of like 5 or 6 cars. The cars were filled with just blankets and sleeping bags and tarps and jackets and gallons and gallons of soup and sandwiches. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So we just drove to all the camp. The momentum just never stopped. From there, it just got really big and crazy. We were doing it weekly, and then someone else jumped in, like, how can I help? And someone else picked up another day of the week, and then someone else jumped in and helped and picked up another day of the week. And next thing you know, we started doing Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesday, and then at some point it became 6 nights a week, and so it just grew and grew. Free Hot Soup we have 2 different units, that's how I call them, because the stationary place where we serve right outside of Macy, we don't go anywhere. We are set up there to serve. I call it picnicking on the street. And so we picnic with our friends. We see between 30 to 50 people average.
You're not going to be on camera too? You know, I saw a post on Facebook. I think it was a friend of mine I got involved by going out to her house, drove the soup all the way down here, and it was like a December night or something, and it was freezing cold. And then another friend came in and helped us to serve it, and we just had like a cooler with some soup in it. And there was a bunch of people out here, and I was hooked. And that morphed into this family of people that comes down here and serves soup.
And everything's usually from scratch?
From scratch, donated.
I cook the soup and then I deliver it down here and I help serve it, and then I go home and scrub the pots and pans. This is all coming from our own hearts. We're not really funded by anybody. We're not a non-profit. People just want to help. But I couldn't do it without all these people coming down here and helping me. That's the bottom line right there. This is why I'm down here, basically, to be an example. If you just step over that line and like engage, things can be a lot different.
The other unit is the mobile unit, who are the people who run out to different campsites, like how we originally started, and they see different numbers of people. They can run anywhere from 20 people a night to sometimes just like 10 and sometimes 30. You never know, because essentially this is someone's home. They're camping outside. That's their only place where they can rest, and you're approaching their safe zone. So you need to respect that and just offer it openly, and if they want to accept it, they will. If they don't want to accept it, we just say, okay, we'll move on. We will be out there to distribute food, and we don't discriminate if you make $50,000, if you make none. If you're hungry and you need food, we have food for you.
My name is Abby Schwab. I've been with Free Hot Soup for probably about a year now. I mostly do mobile runs. I do a lot of shuffling around of goods. So if we get a donation that needs to get to another location, I often pick up and drop off.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
When soup is ready, I can pick up soup and drop it off to people that are serving. So it's kind of a lot of moving around of goods. Hazelnut Grove has been developing over the past few months. I live nearby to there, so I would drive past there often and eventually realized what it was becoming, which is sort of a village, if you will, of people that had started to camp there. They've been building their little tiny homes and really want to make it the place where people can actually rest their heads, feel safe, know they're not going to be pushed along in the middle of the night.
That's what's so cool about it is like this donation came in from the food bank and there's too much right now. So that means, Pre-Hot Soup can take that, make a big sack, hand it to one of our soup makers, they'll turn it into soup and bring it down here to have prepared hot meals. Awesome. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
These encampments are not the solution, but for now, this is the best that we can do. There's so many different things that we need to work on, and food justice is just one aspect of that, and if we can just help just kind of put a Band-Aid on so it doesn't get any worse, we'll do that for now to keep the pressure off. Life is messy and people run into all kind of crises, and sometimes they just need a community support.
Back in 2012, I ended up on the street for 2 months. I'm Katie, and I am cooking soup for Mobile.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the hamburger. I usually don't cook with this, but I thought it was a good deal.
I used to be a technical writer in the computer electronics industry. I spent 35 years doing that. Right around 9/11, the job started drying up. Eventually found myself out of work. So I went from an income of $70,000 a year to zero to making $10 an hour. One of my sons graduated from high school, and the other one I sent to live with his dad. He was in middle school. Lost my house, had gone through a divorce, so there was a lot of stress going on in my life. And then I eventually ended up in Alaska and got into retail.
So yeah, I try to make it as nutritious as possible, just because lack of nutrition on the street is a real, just makes people's lives that much more complicated.
Kind of came back and lived with family, and I got myself on the wait list for safes and spent time at my mother's nursing home and my son's dorm for a couple weeks until I could get in.
So this is a bit of an experiment. Pizza sauce and chili.
And so that really opened my eyes. I'm a compassionate person, and I pay attention to people on the street, and I would, always try to be friendly and give when I could. But once you're actually homeless, it's an entirely different ballgame. And I'm still, feel like that if, say, federal funding for Social Security or SSDI were cut, which has been threatened, my livelihood could be eliminated, and I could be right back in that situation again. I really opened my eyes to how people on the street are treated, because I experienced it. Where I live, there's a very large street population. So I'm reminded every day that there's people out there that need help. I'm just really glad that was part of my journey. My compassion increased 100-fold.
It's not a new concept. It was just rethinking our priorities and redistributing food surplus. It's been so fantastic for everyone involved, the people who are receiving the food and to the volunteers or participants. It just takes that initial step of getting outside your comfort zone and just being like, I'm willing, I'm here, how can I help? And we've created this safe space that people can help out in different ways. You can be the person that's doing communication online, you help coordinate things, you connect people with resources. There are so many different ways that people can engage, and it's meant to present it in a way that it's dignifying people. Just to really, truly bring back the core of what humanity is about. To help a fellow human being out when they need it.